So in this question, it is given that phi is a scalar function which satisfies the Laplace equation. Then we have to see the properties of gradient phi, whether it is solenoidal or irrotational. So since phi satisfies the Laplace equation, so we can write del square phi is 0. We can rewrite this equation as divergence of gradient phi. So that is 0. And since divergence of gradient phi is 0, so we can say that gradient phi has a property of solenoid. We can also write that gradient phi is some constant value. And if we calculate curl of gradient phi, then that is also 0. So we can say that gradient phi has irrotational property. So from given option, option A is correct. So in this question, we have to see during the charging of a capacitor C in a series RC circuit, what is the typical variation of magnitude of charge QT deposited on the capacitor plate and the current IT in the circuit. So we know that in a charging case, voltage across capacitor is given by VCT is V1 minus exponential minus T by RC. So charge QT is given by CVC, and that will be CV1 minus exponential minus T by RC. So that charge is exponentially increasing. So this is the correct option. Now we have to check for current IT in the circuit. So that is given by C dVC by dt. And if we calculate this, we will get V by R exponential minus T by RC. So current is exponentially decreasing. So this is correct. So option 1 and 2 is correct. So in this question, it is given that a small spherical ball having charge Q and mass M is tied to a thin massless non-conducting string of length L, and other end is fixed to an infinitely extended non-conducting sheet with uniform surface charge density sigma. Now under the equilibrium, string makes an angle 45 degree with the sheet as shown in this figure. So we have to find what will be surface charge density sigma. G is given, that is acceleration due to gravity, and epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. So we know that field due to infinite sheet is perpendicular to the sheet, and its magnitude is given by sigma by twice epsilon naught. N cap is perpendicular to the sheet. So if we see electric force on charge Q, that will be force F, and F is given by Q into E. Now tension in the string is T and gravitational force is mg. So we can resolve T in two components, in horizontal component and vertical component. If you see this angle, that is also 45 degree. So horizontal component is T cos 45 degree and vertical component is T sin 45 degree. So if we equate horizontal and vertical component, we will get 2 cos 45 degree, that is T by root 2, and this will be Q into E. E is sigma by twice epsilon naught. And if we equate vertical component T sin 45, that is again T by root 2, that is equal to mg. So we can equate these two. So we will get sigma by twice epsilon naught is equal to mg, and this will give you sigma is twice mg epsilon naught by q. So option C is correct. So in this question, we have to check which of the following is an impossible magnetic field be? So we know that for possible magnetic field, divergence of B is 0. So we have to check for divergence B that is not 0. So let's start with option A. So from option A, divergence of B is given by 6xz square minus 6xz square. So that is 0. Now let's check for option B. So again, divergence of B is given by minus 2y plus z square plus 2y minus z square. So that is again 0. Now let's check for option C. So again, divergence of B is given by z minus x cube plus x cube minus z, and that is equal to 0. Now let's check for option D. For option D, divergence of B is given by minus 6z plus 3z square. So that is non-zero. So now impossible magnetic field is option D. So in this question, we have to see the characteristic of gradient of some scalar field S. So from fundamental theorem of gradient, we know that A to B line integral of gradient S dot dl is always independent of path, because value of this integral depends on value of function S at end points. So option A is correct. Now if we find closed gradient S dot dl, that is always 0. So option B is also correct. And gradient S is a measure of maximum rate of change in the field S. So option C is also correct. Gradient S is a vector quantity. So option D is incorrect. So option A, B, C are correct. So in this question, we have to see the correct statement about a perfect conductor. So let us first see what are the properties of a conductor and consider an unsymmetrical shaped conductor. So we know that inside conductor, electric field is always 0. Charge density rho is also 0 and potential V is some constant value. If we give any external charge to this conductor, that charge will reside on the surface only, and this charge will be distributed unsymmetrically, and you will see that towards this edge charge density is greater as compared to this edge. So on the sharper edge charge density is greater. And if we see electric field on the surface of a conductor, that field is always perpendicular to the surface, pointing outward. So at any point we can show the direction of electric field. So these are the properties of conductor. Now if we see the correct option, so option A is the conductor has an equipotential surface. So that is true. B option is net charge, if any, resides on the surface of a conductor. That is also true. Next is electric field cannot exist inside the conductor. This is also true. And just outside the conductor, electric field is always perpendicular to its surface. This is also true. So all options are correct. So in this question, we have to find the magnitude of electric field displacement vector due to an infinitely long straight wire which carries uniform line charge density 8 pi into 10 to power minus 2 coulomb per meter at a distance 20 mm away from the axis of the wire. So we know that electric field due to an infinite wire is given by lambda by twice pi epsilon 0 r. This is the magnitude. So electric field displacement vector D is given by epsilon 0 mod E. So we can write this as lambda by twice pi r, and we know that this lambda is given and this is the R. So lambda is 8 pi into 10 to power minus 2 coulomb per meter by 2 pi into R is 20 mm is 10 to power minus 3 meter. So if we calculate this value, we will get 2 coulomb per meter square. So in this question, we have to find the electrostatic energy of a uniformly charged spherical shell of total charge 5 coulomb and radius is 4 meter in the unit of 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 joules. So we know that electrostatic energy of a uniformly charged spherical shell is Q square by 8 pi epsilon 0 R. Since we have to find in units of 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, so we can write this as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q square by twice R joules. So let's put value of Q and R. So we can write this as 25 by 2 into 4 joules. And this value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into 3.125 joules. So numerical value is 3.125 joules. So in this question, consider the interface between two magnetic material having permeabilities mu1 and mu2 as shown in this figure. We know that interface is xy plane and z is the normal to the interface. Permeability mu1 is given in medium 1 and mu2 is given in medium 2. And magnetic field B1 is given in medium 1. And interface contains current K, that is 100 x cap ampere per meter. So direction of surface current is x cap, that is given. And we have to find magnitude of the normal component of the B2. So we know boundary condition for perpendicular component of B2 as B2 perpendicular is B1 perpendicular, that is universal boundary condition. And since interface is xy plane, so B1 parallel is given by 4x cap minus 6y cap, and B1 perpendicular is given by twice z cap in units of millitesla. So B2 perpendicular is also twice z cap millitesla. So magnitude will be 2 in units of millitesla.